I'm Chloe.
I'm Taya.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Esther.
And we're from the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press, and today we're here with
Kaela Waldstein, director, producer, editor, cinematographer of Cara Romero, Following the Light, a half-hour documentary.
That's amazing. Well, you kind of already said how you came about this film, but is this like something you do a lot to make? Have you made other short films?
Yeah, I do a lot of short documentaries, and I really have an emphasis on the arts. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it's like a mecca of art, especially indigenous art.
Yeah.
And I'm an artist myself. Like, I have a background in visual arts, so it's something I'm really drawn to. And the way I found to be a videographer and like make money doing it is to get relationships with like educational institutions, museums with like state funding, people who have money and sometimes really need to spend it. And then hopefully some of them see the value in doing documentary work, kind of like archival. And because if you go to an artist directly, they're not going to have money to pay you anything. So that's how I've done it.
If you could shoot your film again, what would you change and how do you think it would affect the movie?
What would I change? My movie is perfect. But I actually kind of feel like it turned out the way as well as it could have. And that's because I was really true to the creative process, and really did my best and was very detail oriented. That I know that sounds maybe overconfident, like, okay, what could you have done better? I would have probably upgraded my camera sooner, but I don't really want to emphasize the camera too much because, like I said before, the story is really the most important. Films are kind of like children. They're not always going to turn out the way you expect or intend, but you just do your best to support and facilitate and love them and accept them however they turn out. And so that's kind of my attitude about it.
Thank you.
What do you think is important to take away from your film?
I think the most basic thing I would like people to take from the film is it's the human element and connecting to that human element, especially when it comes to, I think a lot of people in this country, when it comes to indigenous people, Native Americans, I think there's a lot of othering. I think people don't even realize that indigenous people are kind of, they're modern, they're everywhere among us, they're a friend, some places more than others. Like in Santa Fe, I'm surrounded by an amazing indigenous community, but ultimately I want people to see the commonalities among us and spark their curiosity, wanting them to learn more and go deeper. Laugh, cry, get chills. That's actually what I want. Scrap everything else. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
So before they talked about having a strong why for short filmmaking. So what was your why that kept you going in this short?
The why that kept me going. I always just want to go deeper. I think one reason I focus on the arts is that it's so personal. And the artistic process, it's kind of like a gateway into what is like really most important to people, like what drives them. There's, you have access to people's emotions, and a lot of times in art there's the physicality, there's a mental process, ultimately a spiritual outcome, hopefully, a shift on all levels. So it's about transformation, I guess you could say, ultimately. In telling the story, we kind of integrate something into ourselves. And I hope that's what people take from it, too, is some kind of shift, in how they think and feel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell us about your first film.
The first film I did, my friend lent me his camera and he just put it all on auto settings. It was like a Canon 7D, and I did a documentary on my dad because that's safe subject matter. I didn't have to worry about how I was coming across when I was directing him. And the story I chose to tell was on his post-retirement life. He had just retired, and he really stepped up. He really met the occasion. Like, I called it cocktail time, because he makes cocktails for my mom every day at 4 o'clock. But he also makes the coffee, he does the laundry, he does the cooking, he cleans the dishes, and he likes it. So, and on top of all that, he's an artist. And he, kind of has his own world in the basement with his art studio and his wood shop. So it's a portrait of a man living life to the fullest in the little things. That's the story that came through.
That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you were to give us one homework assignment, what would it be?
If I were to give you one homework assignment, it would probably be make a 60-second film with your iPhone. I don't care if it's documentary or narrative. Start with just write you can make a story in 30 seconds, a minute, 30 minutes, but do a documentary on your mom or dad even. It's like you don't even have to leave your house. Whatever comes to you. I think that's manageable. Don't worry about the sound. I'm sorry about what I said about sound earlier. Like, I just totally discredited everything. It says, if the sound sucks, I'm not going to watch it. I take it back. Don't worry about that. Is that good?
Thank you so much for talking with
You're
us.
welcome.